Well, good morning, everyone. It is Friday morning. I will probably not get this out before 11 today. However, it will be going out today. You know what day it is. Full Scale Friday. And that means we're doing the big reading. This is how I cap off every week. We start with Moonology on Monday. We end with the big one on Friday. I don't know exactly how this got started, to be honest with you. I think what happened was I was doing the same spread every week, and I was like, you know what, let's keep it a little fresh. Let's keep it a little exciting here. And I proposed Straight Tarot Tuesday first. And I was like, you know, on Tuesday, maybe I should just do tarot. And then I began theming other days. And then it was Straight Tarot Tuesday, there was Rune Casting Wednesday, Full Scale Friday came up, Traditional Thursday, I just kept it like I always do. And then I had two Moonology decks, so I was like, hey, why not do Moonology Monday as well? That's pretty much the historic breakdown there. But anyway, but I digress. We are about to do it big today. And today I've got a really strange combination. It's going to be Viking Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle, Runes of the Gods. Those are always going to be in the full readings I do. But today, something told me to grab Celtic Tarot and the Sacred Light Oracle. I don't know why. I really couldn't tell you. Normally it's Celtic Tarot and Runes, Angels and Ancestors, because that's usually an ancestral reading that I'm doing. But this time, it wasn't. I tend to pick decks based on whatever's kind of just giving me that little call that day. And of course it comes after a little brief meditation and, you know, me clearing the mind, asking what we need to know today. And then I'll always ask which among you will answer for today. And of course it was these two that called out the loudest and called out together. So those are the ones we're going to use. And I do love the backs of these cards. They are simple and very elegant and beautiful. The artwork is also very beautiful. If it's one thing I love about certain decks, it's just the artwork. You know, the artwork is gorgeous. And even if I were to just quit doing tarot or any of that tomorrow, I would still hold on to my decks just for the artwork alone. Because many of the decks I have very beautiful artwork, some have very simple artwork. You know, it just kind of depends. So, let's get these cards laid out and then we'll get to reading. Also, this is what a full private reading will look like. And if you would like to schedule one for yourself, Linktree is in the description below. You throw me anything off my Amazon or drive-through RPG wish list, $35 and under, and you get 2 private readings. 2 questions to be redeemed at any time, and then a birthday reading as my gift to you. We'll call it, it's a gift exchange. You're giving me something, I'm giving something back. Alright, here we go with the Runes of the Gods. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to let this sit for a minute, and I know it's the weekend, I know you have things to do, I've got things to do, not until, not for a few hours, but, you know. I do want to apologize to all of you for Wednesday's video. I uploaded it to BitChute, and it didn't go live until, let's see, I uploaded it probably about noon-ish, I think, and it didn't go live until 6 p.m. And I sent out the message that BitChute was having a bit of a stroke. And it was. Here lately, BitChute's been really good about getting those videos posted in a very, very short window of time. But Wednesday, that didn't happen. So turnout on BitChute was kind of low because I wasn't able to send the link out. Because if I did, it would just be a dead link for about, 6 hours. But the rest of the links went up just fine. If you were able to watch those videos, thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for watching this. And if I'm holding your interest, that's great. If you see something I could be doing, or doing differently, something you would like to see differently, let me know. Also, I would like to point out, if you send me a deck, doesn't matter whether it's an oracle deck or a tarot deck, if you send me a deck, I will use that deck in your private reading first. And if you send me something that I already have, it's no problem. I can always use spares. Just know that it will go appreciated. And I will still use the deck that you sent. So, win-win there. I will be honest with you, I don't really have a lot of room on my shelf for another deck right now. I suppose if I, finagled it, I probably could, but I just don't. It's okay. It's not world breaking there. So if you do send me a deck, no, I will still accept very graciously, and I will still use it in your reading. But one thing did pop up yesterday, and that was there is a Dungeons and Dragons tarot deck. I saw it at my local gaming store for about $25. I passed it. I passed on it. For years I've been trying to tell people, look, there's no occult stuff in this game. And then Wizards of the Coast has to release that one, and I'm like, damn it, Wizards. But if someone were to give me one of those decks, I definitely wouldn't turn it away. But as far as purchasing one for myself, I won't do it. To me, that's a little like dating where you work or shitting where you eat. It just doesn't make sense. Don't get me wrong. I love this, and I love D&D. But I don't love them enough to put the two of them together. Especially it's only like for one adventure, really. There's a specific deck designed for the Ravenloft and Curse of Strahd adventure, but I don't see that happening. I know there's one for Shadowrun that I would buy, except that it's about $40 for a deck, unless I find it somewhere cheaper. $40 in a brick and mortar retail store. But then again, I would probably want to buy two of them, and I would use one as a functional tarot deck, the other for the game. And that's because depending on your character, if your character is a tarot reader, well then those go perfect with it. But anyway, enough about that. I'm sure you see my point there. Anyway, start with you. We've got Odin. I want you to take a good long look at this particular photo, or this bit of art, this illustration. Odin has only one eye because he sacrificed it. He plucked it out of his head, handed it to Mimir, and Mimir threw it into his well, after giving Odin one drink from his well. He also has one of his ravens here. I don't know if there's another one in there. I don't see another one. But Odin actually has two ravens, Hugin and Munin, thought and memory. Odin says that when he sends them out into the world to observe the world and report back to him, he fears that both of them will not return, but he fears for one more than the other. Odin is known as, he's known by many names. Greybeard, Shield Shaker, so on and so forth. But what is Odin really known for? His wisdom. The Allfather is known for another sacrifice as well, hanging himself from the world tree Yggdrasil, piercing himself in the side with his own spear, and looking down into the well of Weird, until he saw the runes, and then he fell from the tree, and it said he took up the runes screaming. Now, Odin learned spells from these runes, and he shared some of them, and some he kept for himself, and he never said what they were. Also, Odin, let's talk about Ragnarok for a minute, because that came up yesterday. Odin knows what is coming for him. It was told to him in the Song of the Cirrus when the Norns told him that Fenrir would be his undoing. What does Fenrir represent? When it's come up, we have to let go of our anger and our hatred. But it was Fenrir himself who devoured Odin at Ragnarok. And it was his son, not Thor, but his son Jord, who avenged him. Odin exemplifies courage, he exemplifies wisdom, fury, and ecstasy. Odin has been able to, he didn't spend all of his time seated on his throne at Asgard. He went out into the world seeking more and more wisdom. He gave us the mead of poetry. He spent time among kings. He even made one fall on his own sword due to his inhospitable nature, which of course was kind of provoked by Frigg, but that is beside the point. The king thought him to be a deceptive wizard, had him chained between two fires, gave him nothing to eat or drink, similar to how it was at Yggdrasil when he hung for 9 nights. And then, when the king's son brought him something to drink, he declared that the king would die by his own hand, and his son would take the throne. Mere moments later, the king realized what had happened, got up, went to rush to meet Odin and to pull him down from his bonds, and fell on his own sword, dying. And true to Odin's prophecy, the son took the throne. So, in short, what does this have to do with you? Well, what wisdom do you have upon which to draw? What can you alchemize within yourself today? And what do you have to face with courage? I know it's the end of the week. I know we just want to coast through that last few hours before the weekend, and oh boy. Well, we've talked a lot about endings today. Or this week, rather. We've talked about letting go of certain things about us. Odin couldn't sit on his throne of Asgard and just be the wise one. He had to get up. He had to move around. He had to go experience things, and so do you. So, you're embodying that today. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing, as a matter of fact. And again, you're being guided by Skadi. You have to be very, very real and authentic with yourself. You have to be able to understand why you're in the position you're in, and you have to be able to own it. You know, Skadi came to Odin's hall, came to Asgard with the intention of killing them all. Her father had been killed, and she wanted retribution. She wanted recompense for it. But she gave them 2 tasks. As long as they could make her laugh, and she would marry Balder, she would consider all forgiven. Well, it was up to Loki to make her laugh. They tied his genitalia to a goat and let the goat pull him around, and at one point a naked Loki landed in her lap, causing her to laugh. Laughing at Loki's pain. I think we can all get a good chuckle out of that. Odin did relent on the marriage thing, and he said, okay, if you can pick Balder by his feet alone, you may marry him, but whomever you select, when you point at those feet, that is who you marry. So, the gods were put barefoot behind a screen that showed only their feet. She saw a pair that was beautiful, and she said, no other feet could be as beautiful as Balder's. Those are the one I select. She ended up marrying a completely different god. This is where the story of the compromise comes into play, because she couldn't stand the calling of the seagulls in his realm. He couldn't stand the cold of the mountains in which she lived. And don't you know, they did spend a little time in each throughout the year. But there was the compromise. In fact, she married Njothr, a sea god who lived on an island crashing with waves and smelling of seaweed. The incessant sound of the ocean and screeching of seabirds was too much for her. She was used to the soft silence of the snow and the howling of her wolves. So when she spoke of missing her true home and her desire to be independent, she and Njothr agreed to try alternating homes every 9 days. When dividing their time between Njotun and Thrymheimr didn't work out, they decided to live apart but stay married. Skadi then returned to her beloved mountains, where she hunted from her skis, which she and the god Ul invented. The Norse asked Skadi for protection on winter journeys, for success in hunting, and for survival in harsh times. And that's what we're looking for, aren't we? Survival in harsh times. So we are seeking wisdom, but we must be authentic. Plain and simple. It's wise to be authentic with yourself. Here we go, spirit animal time. You've got to take back your power. You cannot play the victim forever. Okay. I think I need to explain something here and now. I know this reading is going to go on a while, but I promise you no post-credit scene. I'm not going to lengthen it like that. But anyway. You cannot claim oppression if your philosophy is the status quo. I don't know how else to tell you that. Also, you cannot challenge the status quo and claim oppression. Now, sure, things may not be going your way. And it's okay to challenge the status quo, but you have to do it a certain way. Successfully challenging the status quo comes with the rune Thurisaz, something I just recently learned. But successfully challenging the status quo, how do you do that? Well, you don't get up in people's faces and start screaming. That just makes you look like like a maniac. You don't do that. Instead, you challenge based on pure logic and fact. Something unimpeachable. But unless you're willing to reclaim your power, you may actually be oppressed in that situation, but if you are truly powerful, you can overcome that. If you reclaim your power, you will overcome that. Do you see what I mean? And here's the key thing to remember between the two of them. Always remember where you are. Look around. Sometimes you have to withdraw from the battle in order to win the war. Not every battle is going to be a winning one. You understand? Let's go to your tarot. Okay, so in your mind right now, got a Two of Wands in reverse. We have a Seven of Swords. And we got a Nine of Swords in reverse. Now this is better than expected. Two of Wands in reverse means that there's a very obvious creative choice being made for you. Actually, it's not much of a choice. But not having that choice is kind of making you feel like, something's being stolen here. In reality, this is the exact opposite. Nothing's being stolen from you. You are being called to be your stealthiest. By not having the choice, you're now being told it's time to get a little crafty, get a little stealthy. Because what was robbing you of sleep in the night, which is what the Nine of Swords does, is now going away. There's no more having to worry about those things. In this spread right here, I'm seeing worry disappear. Well, what happens when worry disappears, when fear and anxiety go away? You can start reclaiming your power. That's how you start reclaiming your power. That's how you start. It's not the be-all, end-all, because right here in the physical, we have the shadow in reverse. We have the moon in reverse. We also have the Father in reverse. So we have a whole lot of reversals. Let's start with this. This is also known in Rider-Waite as the Devil. Liberation time, baby. This is where you're truly free. The moon in reverse, it's not as scary as it looks. See, this, I know I'm kind of flying through this. It's not over time constraints. It's just because, well, they're very simple explanations at this point. But the Father in reverse is one I'm kind of, I don't get to work with this deck that much. But I am going to go back a little bit. I am going to use the book on this one just a little bit here. Let's see here. I do need the Father. And if I'm not mistaken, this may be... Here we are. Okay. So right now, with the Father, in reverse, it's implying that your heart is not fully engaged. This may be all head, so reel in your head, reel out the heart a little bit. Bring a little feeling into the matter. Have you become so separated from the divine feminine that all that matters to you is your success? Will that bring you any joy? In this case, let me simplify that by saying this is where being right at all costs can be costly. So this is more of like a cautionary sign to me. Let's go to the spirit and find out what's going on. And this is a physical matter right here. Are you more concerned with being right than being happy? We got a Queen of Wands, 8 of Swords, and a 10 of Swords. Start with this Queen of Wands. Remember that creative choice that wasn't quite yours? Well, guess what? It's a spiritual matter, that's why. And it's very important that you remember that. Because right now your problems, your spiritual issues seem a lot bigger than they are. But those bonds are not very tight. All you gotta do is wiggle out of them, take the blindfold off, and step in between the swords and you're good to go. Problem is, this keeps coming up, that feeling of betrayal. But really, this is your triumph over evil. Because let me tell you something, when those who have betrayed you, those who will betray you actually do, there's your triumph right there. And I'll tell you how. You can forgive them if you wish, but you're not stupid enough to trust them ever again. Right? They've ousted themselves from your circle, not the other way around. Keep that in mind. I know sometimes it's better to be happy than be right, but let me tell you something, trust is a very, very sacred thing, especially with me. But anyway, going on to Sacred Light Oracle, we do have a Tibetan fire spirit. So, in the mind, we're seeking a higher path today. And notice how it's fire. We started off with a 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands, that's a symbol of fire right there. But you know where your higher path is now, and it's time to seek it. Right here in the physical, we have energy medicine. So this is sensuality, devotion, celestial fertility, and deep rest. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have I told you this week that you need to do some meditation, you need to do some really deep meditation? You can do that in your sleep. If you don't have any time today, tomorrow, or the day after, it's fine. Do some sleep meditation. Go to YouTube, turn on one of those 963 hertz sounds, and just fall asleep to it. Keep in mind your breathing as you're falling asleep. I guarantee you, this stuff has worked for me. It will probably work for you. Give it a try. Also, it's energy medicine for a reason. You may not do 963 hertz. You might find a frequency that's a little better for you. Finally, we do have Soul Family. So, we need happy reunion support and order from chaos. Don't be hesitant to call your soul family in. They will come in to support you. And if you don't know who they are, they will just show up out of the blue. I'm not kidding. I don't know who that telemarketer is, but they're not getting past me, but okay. So finally, the runes. Thurisaz, right? We need to meet our challenges. Our challenges are coming today. They will probably be here all weekend. But we need to ensure our success through them. We grow through them. The sword is forged by being hammered and ground and polished. In our physical, we do have tivas. Justice, also leadership and victory. And in our spirit, we have Isa, which is our reflection and our meditation. I'm surprised Rider-Waite didn't come up. But Skadi tends to embody that travel mentality. 9 nights here, 9 nights there. Well, we just really can't stand each other's place. So I'm going to go skiing around the mountain. I'm going to hunt for my skis. You want to take back your power? You want to take back what once was lost was yesterday. What was lost? Your power. Take it back this weekend. Whoever took it before, you let them know very calmly, very dispassionately. I don't really care what you have to say. Taking back my power because that's where I operated best. I'm not asking for your permission, your consent, or approval. That's just what's going to happen. You're either on board or you're not. But I need to know which one you are, and I need to know now. You've had your chance. It didn't work out. What do you want to do? You leave that ball in their court. If they decide they're not on board, get out of there. But in some cases, you are going to have to weigh it out. There is some element of compromise to this. You have already gone forward. You have gone forth with good faith. Now it's time for them to come forward. And if they refuse to come forward, walk away. It's more important for you to be happy than it is to be right. And when you're happiest, you tend to be better. When you're happiest, you tend to be right. No one else has to approve of it. And it may be a lonely existence, but at least you won't be stuck with that worry of what will they think. Have some tact when doing it, though, because that's ultimately what's going to free you. Notice this 8 of Swords in this shadow card over here. 8 of Swords is all bound up, thinks that there's no escape. Shadow's telling you otherwise. Shadow in reverse is saying, hey, liberation time, wiggle out. And if you're feeling a little betrayed by those you trusted most, guess what? You're freer now than you ever have been, because your soul family's coming. But you gotta go inside first. Reignite that fire. Take this weekend to heal thyself just a little. Alright, that's everything I've got. I realize this has been a very long reading. There's so much detail in this reading. There really is. And the bottom line of it is, you've already compromised enough. You now have to ask them in good faith to come to you. You've probably gone a lot farther than you're comfortable with going, and I do not blame you if you have. But you're going to have to go inside, you're going to have to get yourself calmed down, you're going to have to heal yourself a bit before doing it. Alright? Use this weekend to reclaim your power. This is your table, ladies and gentlemen. You get to make the rules now. You have been forced, you have been pushed, and you get to say, okay, now that I've given, you have to as well. But no matter what, the one thing is not negotiable, you're taking your power back. That's not negotiable. In that case, it's better to be right than happy. Alright? I hope you find something in this reading that will resonate with you and that you can take through this weekend, and I hope that it works for you. I hope you have all the success in the world with it. I hope your victory is assured, and if it is, hit me up on social media, hit me up in the comments down below. I want to see messages of victory all weekend. You don't have to leave a like and start sharing with friends or anything, unless you would like to. That would really help out. That would help out more than anything. But I really want you to reclaim that power and never relinquish it again under any circumstances. Alright. Bub's about to start bothering me. He's already starting now. It's close to feeding time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for having your morning tea with me. I know mine's running a little low. I need a top up here. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, my friends, shine on.